Hiya, Squishers, and welcome back to another and final episode of Squishmas. Under the stairs with all of the squish. Don't worry, I'll be back after the new year. Don't worry, it's not forever. It's just for a little break, just because you probably need a break from me. Welcome to episode 24. Ooh, it's Squishmas Eve. And I brought out the sparkle as promised because, let's face it, I'm not going anywhere. And I have had these sequins on hold for a while now. Let's just have a moment to talk about sequins. I never got into sequins until my girls. I had girls. Tabby is sequin like mad. And I'm like, can I have some? So I'm grown up sequining it. This is my sequin time. And it's finally happened. I have a Christmas squish cast on. I'm delighted, like beyond delighted. Today is my first welcome. If this is the first video, there's 23 more videos. This is the first day off I've had from squishing, which is just because all I've done today is just chillax. I've had pajamas on. I've cast on my jumper. Can you see it? I've made it past the first bit, and I've just been enjoying slowing down. And I managed to do my nails. I haven't actually taken care of my hands. That's yet to be done. Like, they are still rough, but they are painted and they match my whip. It was definitely an incentive to start this morning. I didn't start last night because it was very dark, very late. And I was like, no. So today was my day. So I hope your Squishmas Eve, it's off to a wonderful start. If you've just woken up, you're settling down and getting excited for tomorrow. If you're in a different time zone, because we're in the UK, it's kind of starting to be settling down time, which is exciting because it's very, when you've got small people, it's very exciting. Like, I used to like Christmas when I was small because let's just drink this. I love the magic of Christmas. So I love the magic of Christmas now. So I'm enjoying everybody getting excited. We've been watching Santa on the news, seeing where he's progressing. We've got him on countdown. We know where he is. We'll be checking before bedtime. But until then, let's talk about sweaters, because I don't know about you, but I have been waiting for this day since the beginning of this month. This has been my final day, well, my beginning day, my start day to my knit holiday, and I have been off to a flying start. So what am I knitting? Well, if you haven't been here for a few episodes before, I blathered about a little bit of a jumper and making one of these. Let me just turn around. One of these, which is a tube to top sweater jumper thingamabob. And this is a very simple constructed piece made from a tube, because I truly believe that tubes just can take you loads of places. So I am making myself a very special squishy jumper this year, which I am just restricting to the colour palette of blues and lilacs and purples. I've decided, I've got my squish, I'll show you in a minute, but I'm making a nice chunky version of this with some longer sleeves. But I've made some adaptations, and these are the things I've changed for this one. Now, if you are interested in this particular one, there are videos on my Instagram video bit where it's got tutorials for tube jumpers. This is the one it's talking about. There's a couple of videos to show you how to do the seaming bits and the cutting bits, but there's some videos back then, if you've got some watching time over the holidays, where I show you how to, or talk you through, making one of these. Now, I went straight from, which is what you can do, which is what I did for all of them. I did a straight cast on and rolled with the rolled hem for these, because I just like trying it out, just going for fun and just seeing where I went with them. But because this is a Squishmas cast on, and because I've thought so much about the colours and how I'm not going to go all over the place with them, I decided with this one to do something that normally I retrospectively go back in and apply. Now, I'll grab my jumper again, because this is a great way of showing you, don't fall down. What I've done in the past with some of my jumpers is, if they aren't long enough, or I want them to be brought in, I'll go back in and pick up this edge of stitching around the edge, and then I'll just rib it down and then cast off. So you can go back in and change things, and don't be afraid to do that. Like, modifying your knits is powerful. Like, when you make something and you're like, do you know what, it'd fit me better if, because if they don't just fit you right, you just don't wear them as much. So I like to go back and retrospectively add things like necks or trims or arms or bottoms. So instead of going back, this time I've anticipated that I want to have a bottom of my jumper that comes in. So I want it to be nipped in at the bottom and going out. So I want you to imagine a tube. And at the bottom, I'm starting off with a smaller needle to make the ribbing a little bit smaller so it nips it in. So the recipe for my sweater that I'm doing right now is as follows, and I'll tell you what it is as we do the video, just in case today or tomorrow you find yourself with an enhanced stash of squish. Some of you may be having gifts of squish from all over the place tomorrow, or today, if it's already today. You know what I mean? Like, you may be also having some time where you're like, do you know what? Everyone's doing some stuff. I might dive into my stash of yarn that's just been lying there waiting for the perfect project. This is great for just using up your scraps, because in my mind, I love jumpers because it uses a lot of yarn fast. And also, instead of it being a blanket, which I love, wearing it, it's almost like you are getting the maximum value out of it. Like, it's not just on your bed, which I do love. Like, that's all it needs to be. But you can wear your blanket. Like, essentially, that's what I'm doing. So you can just think of it like your test project, and that it doesn't have to be, none of them have to be perfect. Important note for you, perfect is just not worth hanging out. Just don't hang out there for perfect. Hang out there for like working, fitting. Wow, I did it. Wow, it's a jumper. Like, if you've never knit a jumper before and you manage to transform a tube into something wearable with arms, you're going to go, wow, I did that. And you're never going to look back. So what I have done, like, I'm a small person, like in size, like my children. Oh my God, Minnie is like 8. She's almost up to my shoulders. There's going to be a point where they are bigger than me and it's not going to be very long. I'm about a size 8, so I'm kind of like small persons. I'm very small, but I like big jumpers because I don't like things to fit me. Like, I think I like nice baggy, check it over, slouch around the house, or I'm knitting on the sofa, or I'm just whatever. I want it comfy. So I've gone for something a bit larger. Now, the advice I'd give you if you're trying to size the cast on for your jumper is to find something. I'm looking around. I will probably see it. Look around for, no, don't look around for something you've knit. Well, find something that you might have knit already with these needle sizes and find a gauge that suits you. Now that sounds like whatever, Kate, what does that mean? So for example, my simple tube cowl, I'm pretty sure is knit in a 4 or 5 millimeter needle, and it's just straight up, straight down. It's 100 stitches cast on. Now I know, looking at that, 2 of those opened up is a great size for me to have a jumper. I like the size of that. So when I look to past knits, it gives me an idea of how big I want them and how much I can cast on. So for my jumper today, I cast on using a 4 millimeter needle on interchangeable needles because I love them. They're a lot easier for me to deal with. I'm knitting in the round. Of course, it's my favorite and the most fastest for me. And I did 10 rows of 2x2 rib. So cast on 200 stitches. This is what I've done for my size for a nice roomy jumper. And I did 10 rows of rib 2x2. And then what I did next is I increased the needle size, because one of the things I've enjoyed learning about knitting garments and scarves and things like that and socks, like some things need a nice tight stitch and other things just don't. And sometimes something with a little bit of give in it kind of like flexes and moves better on your body. So I've gone up a needle size for the main part of my jumper, which will be a 5 millimeter needle. Now, so far, this is all the information you need to know, because it's going to take me a minute to get up to the point where I'm going to be doing anything about the arms. And I'm undecided yet as to whether or not I want to knit the whole tube and cut the arms, because that's also a bit of work, or whether or not I want to swap over to 2 straights and knit back and forth. So I'll decide that as I get there. Which is another great thing about making up your own patterns. You can choose what you do when you arrive at the problem. Like, I don't have to think about arms yet, although I know 2 different ways I'm going to do it. I can just enjoy the colourful journey ahead of me. So that's what I'm going to show you next, is I have cast on with my favourite colour, which matches my nails. This is Aqua Gems. Like, but this the mesmerizing thing about it, that mesmerizing thing. Aqua Gems with coal. I brought my stash with me to show you. It's in a basket, ready, because I'm ready for knitting. For my coal, I've got my yarn holder to keep it separate because it just, everything, tangling. I'll show you the rest. There's quite a lot in here, it just gets tangled. These I have had for a number of years by John. John's made me these. And just to let you know, these will be appearing in the shop after the Squishmas period because I have them ready, all done on the shelf. And these are perfect for 100 gram centre pole balls of yarn. So I'm using this to hold my coal. So that is going to put on the side right there for a minute whilst I show you my colourful restricted palette of colours. So what am I going for? Greens, blues, and some like lilac-y colours. I'm going to lift it up, feast your eyes on this. Whoa! Those. And some brand new ones, which I have not tried before, because previously I've thought they were a bit like out of my comfort zone. This one, it's just this is the one I'm currently have on the needles. Oh, come on now. Come on. This is like a soft lime, neon green wash. It's got pinks, limes, yellows, and like a tealy blue in there. There is, it's just, there's something about these colours just captivating me, especially when I put them next to colours like this, which is the other one. This is not in the pick and mix. This is a new one. And this, which is out the dryer, yes, this has got lots of like greens and blues and pinks. So like, oh yeah. And then I've got, oh, this one's nice. Oh, this one's got lots of blues and greens in it. So I'm going for that really nice, I've never even seen it, but in my mind, like an Aurora Borealis experience. Oh, because Mel lives in Alaska, and I talk to Mel a lot about the landscape in Alaska, and one day I will go there, and I will go there. I will see the Aurora Borealis. But until then, knitting is where I'll experience it. So this is what I'm doing. Here. That's where I am so far. I've done 3 colour changes. This one here is Sully in the blue and the pink. I've gone for this lime green. I'm going to try not to blend them so much. I'd like there to be pops of like, ooh, in between all the colours. You know what I mean? So squishes, look at me. I've actually done it. A Squishmas Eve cast on just for me. Although Dabby said, it's not very Christmassy. I was like, I didn't say Christmas Eve cast on. I said Squishmas Eve. I said it's about squishy memories. Because I was telling John the other day about how much I love that knitting for me is about creating memories. Like most of the things I've knit, in fact 90% of the things I've knit in the recent years, I remember where I was when I knit them. Like my squishy dot blanket, that was during the first lockdown, and we were in the pop-up tent a lot, and we made the most of our summer together. Or you remember the very long summer that felt like a whole year? That was my squishy dot blanket. So every time I look at that, it just reminds me of my family in the field and the hay bales. It was just, and this is going to be my Squishmas Eve treat to myself, because boy, it's been a year, and I know you're feeling exactly the same. So number one, thank you so much for joining me under the stairs for 24 days. Like, I really enjoyed myself, and I'm so glad I came in with a sequence tonight, because I feel like if we were going out for a meetup with some squish and knitting and chatting, we'd meet up, I'd be dressing like this, because it's Squishmas Eve. I'd be like, yes. Well, if we were in our pajamas, this is what we'd look like. You know what I mean? So thank you. And I wish you the bestest Squishmas Day ever tomorrow, because everyone's Squishmas Day is going to be different, but I want you to at least remember that you deserve a little squish for yourself. Whatever that squish is in your day, make sure you squish it in. Everyone deserves a squish in the day. And if you manage to craft, knit, crochet, weave, whatever your fancy is over the holidays, just have so much fun. And I will see you possibly in a few days, because I'll have to show you my jumper progress. But until then, have a wonderful time, and thank you so much. And Merry Squishmas! Bye!